Hey, welcome to another podcast. I'm here with Aaron Bedessem from Running Aces Casino and Racetrack. He's the director of marketing. I've got that all in one sentence. That's fantastic. So, Aaron, hey, thanks for joining me today.
Absolutely. I appreciate being here.
How are you doing? You doing good?
Absolutely. This is, minus the mornings, but like you said, it's good to be here. And anytime we can talk marketing or running aces or, fun, I'm all for it.
I was going to jolt you just a little bit because you overdressed for me. I appreciate that.
I did.
You got your hair did. You got a really nice outfit on. I got our Extreme Sandbox polo on. Anyway.
It's only because I have another meeting after this. Otherwise, I would have swagged up a hoodie or a shirt on too. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Well, Aaron, tell me a little bit about yourself. Where did you grow up?
So I actually grew up here in Minnesota, Brooklyn Park, northwest suburbs, and yeah, it was good. Had a diverse school, and from there went up to University of Minnesota Duluth. So it's state of Minnesota for college.
University of Duluth people. Carrie Ford went to University of Duluth as well.
Yeah?
I lost to them in football. I don't know if you caught that on the last podcast. I went to Morris.
Okay. On purpose?
Yes.
Huh. So no, it was
Morris is never going to sponsor us.
You might get the Bulldogs though.
Huh?
Maybe the Bulldogs.
Oh, jeez. So what'd you go to school for?
Marketing. The dream.
So you knew what you were gonna do.
I thought so. The goal was let's run a restaurant. I love the food industry. I think before when I was 25, I had 25 different jobs at that point. And I always picked up part-time jobs. I was never fired from any. Well, I take that back. I was let go from a job, and I can get there too. When I worked in Mall America, and they did some transitions there.
Wow.
But out of all those jobs, the marketing in restaurants, that's kind of what I liked. And so I wanted to go to school for that.
So you worked in restaurants, I'm assuming.
Many of them. Yep. Ruby Tuesdays, actually, up here was my first manager's job after my internship.
You knew? We were talking before this, but yeah, that's awesome. Okay, what did you do? I'm sure you did all the roles, like servers.
Yes. First job was a busboy. Anybody who does it, it was the worst job ever, to be honest. I hated every second of it. But I like the industry, and so
you learned some lessons, because
many lessons. So, but up in Duluth, I got into the sports and entertainment side. I was the mascot for the Bulldogs, so I was a Bulldog.
So you cheered against me.
I did, and some of the other schools we may have gotten into some fist fights with some drunks and me as a mascot.
Right.
But I think UND had 3 guys go to jail, and St. Cloud had a few people. Yeah, so good times.
When did you go to school? What years?
2000.
Oh, so you're young. Way
2000 to 2004.
So okay, I graduated in 2000.
Okay.
I think. This hasn't been. I'm sorry, I gotta stop talking to the camera.
Right.
Yeah. That's cool, man.
So from there, I really got into the sports side of things and kind of more entertainment side of marketing, and
which is more fun.
It really is. It was so much fun. And so I had an internship at Canterbury Park, first out of college, and from there I really got the real taste of entertainment. And from there, went to manage Ruby Tuesdays. After a year, realized I don't want to babysit adults for a living. And that's kind of what the restaurant industry is. So it was kind of tough for me, but kept great relationships with people, and ended up going to work for Mall of America and Camp Snoopy. And so from there, I think it says a lot to kind of the industry we're in, or the state of the world.
Right.
Because Camp Snoopy then changed their licensing. They were merged with Mall of America. They used to be 2 different companies.
Yep.
They became one company. Went through 3 years of changes, and was let go from there. But then Running Aces was just being built at that point. And 2008, probably not the best time of the economy to open up a discretionary place.
Right.
That definitely made it a little more difficult. But they took a bunch of people actually from Camp Snoopy because they wanted to bring that culture up there. And the culture Camp Snoopy had.
Having just cool time.
Absolutely, and they were family friendly, and just about one of the greatest things I remember at Mall of America was, they have a couple of really busy times, spring break, they'd have school patrol days, things like that, and it was all hands on deck. So it didn't matter if you were in accounting, it didn't matter.
You were out on the floor.
Yeah, it was, hey, we need you up to go work a Carney game or go serve hot dogs or whatever it was. And that philosophy was great, that everybody was equal and let's share that. And they wanted to bring that up to Running Aces, and that's kind of where we're at now.
That's awesome, because I believe in that too. Our company kind of runs the same way. So, and it gives you empathy as well, because then you can see what everybody else is doing too when you have to jump in.
Absolutely.
There isn't these staggered levels.
Right, and then you see, oh, well, yeah, I guess these guests can be this way, or
right.
You definitely see the hurdles. So yeah, it's been, and up at Running Aces, like I said, 2008, not the best time. We went through we had 2 different partners that owned us. Mm-hmm. We went through, one of them bought the other one out. Then we went through a bankruptcy, and our lender ended up buying us on a sale through the bankruptcy. And so we've definitely had some roller coasters of 10 years, but we're actually celebrating our 10-year anniversary on April 11th. So we had a new president and CEO come in about 3 years ago.
Okay.
And ever since then, he was able to kind of turn us to the direction we want.
Well, that's incredible. When you start out, because our company was started in 2012, so we were just coming out of that, mm-hmm. but you learned to do more with less.
Absolutely.
Because you didn't have the silver plate out in front of you. So you figure out how we're going to make this work. To go back a second, talking more about the restaurant industry, mm-hmm. or just service industry in general. Do you still live by I'm sure you do, but it's a rhetorical question, but that adage of everybody should either have a job as a server or...
Absolutely.
It changes your entire perception of everything. Mm-hmm. It's so interesting, and I'm sure you have countless examples too. If you get bad service at a restaurant, or you're in Target and get bad service, if you've been in service, you can see behind that and even do some more macro thinking and going, okay, I understand what's happening right now. Whereas you're with your 2 buddies and they're just losing their damn minds.
Yeah,
right?
You can look around the restaurant and instantly see, there's only one server for 15 tables. You see she's just lost. It's not her fault. Or,
so I'm not gonna tip her when she's running 3 people's jobs right now. That's the solution to the problem. You're right. I think that's so funny, and I still have those conversations when I'm in that type of situation with peers of mine that they just don't get it because they never had to ever do this.
Right.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Mall of America. What's some crazy stories from there? I bet you saw so many crazy things.
I think the coolest thing about the mall is the stuff you don't see, in the sense that it is a city underneath it.
And I've been back there, so tell me more. Yeah.
If you can imagine, every store in there, all of their deliveries comes through one loading dock. Mm-hmm. And the guy who runs it down there, it's amazing to see, like I said, a city.
Those trucks are coming in just nonstop.
Exactly, and then it's all the big trucks and the semis, but then it goes all to the flatbeds and the little, what do you call them, little Cushman carts. I mean, you've got a left and a right street that mm-hmm. goes all the way underneath, and all of the freight elevators. It is so crazy to see how everything gets to the stores and the security that goes into it, and
that no one sees.
Exactly. And you think of mall security can kind of be the Paul Blart, and that's what you see, but the mall security is great.
Well, don't they have their own police station? Isn't
Bloomington has a police station there, but then they have their security, and their kind of counterterrorism side is great, and they have their dogs that go around, and I think the funniest things I remember seeing was we would park underneath by the light rail, and when you would see the security with their bomb dogs walk through, watching everybody scatter thinking they were drug dogs. It was just hilarious to watch when you're going through the light rail. You would you would see somebody look at them and all of a sudden go the other direction. Those were some of the things that kind of that made me laugh.
I'm just picturing that in my head. I had my first experience with that. So I was a teenager, and this is ways ago when the 4th floor was still like that, which was amazing. The 4th floor was amazing when I was 25 because it was all just bars, and you just had to take the escalator up, and you're up there and partying. But we went to see a movie, but something broke, and they took us through the back ways, right? And if you've never been now I think it's like old hat because we have all the back ways, and I work in a mall. I know where all that stuff is.
Right.
They take us through these corridors, and you're like, this is all behind the mall. It's bigger than the mall. That all these different. I was completely lost.
Yeah.
It was just a string of people exiting a movie theater in a single line.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
But you don't know.
No, and at the mall it was it was always pretty clean and everything in those back rooms. When I worked at a mall up in Duluth, boy, you'd see some of those restaurant foods up back there, and you'd think, well, I'm not eating here.
Right.
Shouldn't have food just sitting back here.
I don't want to get into that too much with you. So running Aces.
Yeah.
So what do you do there?
What
do you say you do?
Well, on any given week, I only do about 15 minutes of real, actual work. Sorry.
Nice.
Being in there for 10 years now, I started there before we opened. And
are you one of the most tenured people working there? I'm sure you are.
Yes, there's a handful of us that have been there for 10 years. But I think the fun is being able to walk through there. And there's a couple of great parts. The people who come in now or even a couple of years ago, they don't have a clue, right? They come in and they just think, oh, yeah, this is how it is. And you think, no, the running Aces that's on that back fence, I was out there and we had to zip tie a stencil there and we spray painted it to
right.
make sure. I mean, because like we said earlier, it was everybody kind of did every job because that's what it would take to get us where we are today. And it's fun to look back and to see the progress that we have made. And when you can educate some of our current staff on, well, no, it's this way because of X, Y, and Z. It's great. But to answer your question, what do I do? My goal is stuff like this. Get the word out. But it's I oversee our player development department, our guest service, and then it's our advertising and public relations stuff. So we have a lot of stuff coming. We're building a hotel coming up, so we're going to continue our growth.
Is that top secret news, or is that out to the public?
No, that is out to the public. We'll be breaking ground here in April, May. 116 person or room
Nice.
Hotel.
Okay, cool.
So it'll be. I mean, it's what we need. It's what the area needs, and it's going to help us get to that next level.
Because there isn't really anything unless you're going past the
exactly.
Forest
There's a
Lake
couple
area.
things in Forest Lake,
Yeah.
But for a lot of people, for us, they want a night out, right? And even if they're coming from St. Paul and where we've got our core group of our clientele coming from,
How can we keep them overnight and they can drive back in the morning? Or
exactly. And some, just come out for a comedy show or come out for some of our other ancillary entertainment that people don't necessarily realize we have, and to make a weekend out of it.
What's the coolest thing at Running Aces that people don't know about? Like even the coolest activity or event?
We added a trout fishing pond a couple years ago. So the land we're built on is known as Trout Air. And so Trout Air operated, I want to say it was 1965 to 98.
Okay.
And they were a huge plot of land up in
around the
Columbus
sod
there.
fields, whatever. Yep.
And they had trout fishing ponds, so you could go fish there, catch your fish, and then they had a little restaurant there.
That would cook them up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then they also were known for their giant concerts. So when our new president came in a couple years ago, people still didn't know where we are. And that is still our biggest hurdle, is people go, Running Aces. Now at least they go, oh, I've driven by you a bunch of times on my way to Duluth. Well, come on, stop in.
Thanks.
Yeah, I'll wave to you next time. But what's it going to take to get you to come in and see us? And people don't realize we're open 24/7. They don't realize that we're smoke-free. We're not a typical casino. We're a little bit more comfortable.
I think that smoke-free is huge because that's like one of the number one connotations if you think about it. It's like, I don't want to smell like
Absolutely.
that.
Yep. And we're actually starting April 1st. Nobody knows it yet, or I think it's April 1st.
Ooh, top secret info.
Right? Now we're going to end up going to the vapes. We won't allow any of the smokeless cigarettes either.
Okay.
It's just become another problem. We've been waiting for the state to do something, thought they
They're
were going
not
to make
doing
it, and
anything.
it's not moving, and it is a complaint from our guests. So we really try and be as customer friendly as we can when we hear some of those complaints.
I'm so glad you're bringing that stuff up because I had my own connotation of what Running Aces was. Yeah, it's first and foremost as a casino,
Right.
But you are this entertainment attraction center.
Exactly.
Trout, I had no idea.
So yeah, so in the Trout Air, so when our president came in, he realized a lot of people just still said, "Oh yeah, you're on the Trout Air land." Trout
because
Air.
they remember that from either being a kid or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we put in a trout pond. We partnered with the original family who did Trout Air. They've been longtime supporters of us. Still live in
that's
the area.
amazing.
And
Because
they
people remember that stuff.
They do, absolutely. And so they came in. They taught our chefs how they used to prepare it. So we prepare it the same way. We imported the same seasoning that they did from Sweden. So
Salt and pepper.
slightly different, but yes, real close. And so it's been fun. Once we put that in, it's been a great tourist attraction for, the people who come to Minnesota. You want that Minnesotan experience. And that can be Mall of America, and it's the outdoors a lot of times. And so for us to be able to provide a fishing experience for people, it's great. There's no fishing license. You come in, we bait the hook, you do the fishing, and then we take it off. And we'll clean and cook it for you in the restaurant, all for about $20. And so
that's awesome for people that not for like super fishermen guys, but if you've never done it before.
Exactly. And the thrill of catching a fish. I mean, sometimes it takes 5 minutes, sometimes it'll take a half hour. And when we do big groups or things like that, and it's really fun to see people having that experience up there.
You guys are going to kind of become like the Las Vegas of Forest Lake.
That wouldn't be tough.
Well, there's McDonald's up there.
That's true.
I don't know.
But we're hoping, we're going through a lot of, there's going to be a lot of hurdles coming up. We've got construction headed up our way for the next 2 years. We've got, that's going to, people going up north, there's going to be some traffic.
There's going to be huge. See, and I know, I knew you from like concerts. Mm-hmm. Like how big is your concert venue?
We would do concerts outside. So the tough part is we did one concert. We had Blues Traveler there. It was great. We kind of pieced it all together and it worked. So then we partnered with a little bit bigger company, tried to make 3 concerts work 2 years ago, and it just didn't. The back line, because we're first and foremost a racetrack, and the horses are...
because you have to change everything. Yeah.
We do, and the track is... We've got one of the safest tracks in the country.
What do you mean by that?
Our facilities director, he will tell you when a grain of dirt is out of place. And we have the least amount of accidents for horse racing. The horses.
So the owners love this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. And so we get horses from all over the country, and our track is so pristine. When I want to do fun stuff to it, we kind of butt heads of, hey, let's do a concert. I'm going to throw a band on there. And we always have to remember first and foremost we're a racetrack. So that can tend to be one of the hurdles.
Well, I can't even imagine the work, not only setting it up, but getting it back to the way it needs to be.
Exactly, and always the unknowns of weather, right? If we get a big storm, we get different things like that, it can hurt it. So because of all those issues, we aren't doing any concerts currently. But as we build this hotel, we're hopefully going to be renovating our apron area, where the main spot where you watch races, where we can put in a stage that's not on the track.
So and then you're not beating it up.
Exactly.
Okay. Absolutely. I love learning about this stuff. For Running Aces itself, what are some upcoming attractions or races that are coming up that you want to tell the public? Like, you guys should be checking this out in the spring when it comes out, or the summer.
Yeah, so the tough part for us is card room. We're card room 24/7, and it's no secret you make your money in the card room side of things. Our restaurant would put any restaurant in Northeast and Uptown. We could put them to the test on a taste test. Our menu is really solid, a lot of local favorites. Most things are house made. Mm-hmm. But the racing side of things is great because it draws in the average person. Yeah. Anybody can come up and enjoy racing, and a lot of people don't realize it's very family friendly. So opening race day is May 19th, and we're free admission. So you can come up.
You can just come and watch.
Come and watch the races. And so every Tuesday, we'll race every Tuesday, Saturday, and Sunday. Tuesdays is our dollar night. It's one of our busiest nights. So you get free admission, $1 hot dogs, and $2 Miller Lite. You can come up and have a $20 night out.
Right.
And so
that's incredible.
And I learned it when I was at Canterbury, but horse racing is the perfect place for a company outing, a first date, or just to get away with the family. Mm-hmm. For the reason of you have something to see and do.
Sure.
And yet, for a company outing, you can dip away real quick. And
right.
Like,
you can go out
place
to your
a bet.
Right. Right.
And it gives you
there's other stuff to go do in case.
Yeah, and the fun part with our racing is a whole race night only lasts 2 to 2.5 hours. There's only about 15 minutes in between a race, and as soon as one race is done, horses are on the track warming up for future races.
Yeah, so there's not a lot of downtime. You can just watch and check out stuff.
Exactly, and the kids are always visually entertained because they're seeing tractors, they're seeing horses, they're seeing different things, and you're real close to the action because a thoroughbred horse is what Canterbury runs. Those are a little bit more temperamental versus our standard breds. you can get a little closer to the action. And the horses are great. We've got our outrider who will go down and you can pet the horse after. And we've got some other cool things where we'll have to have you come out and get in the starter car. The starter car.
Well, what we need to do is we put that on the vlog.
Absolutely.
And then we film that. That would be amazing. Anything you want me to go do, I'll go do.
No, I want to figure out a way that we can put a crane or an extreme sandbox
You want me to
out
drive
there.
a mini excavator on the track? No, we can't, though.
Not on the track, but maybe where the hotel's going to go. Like, that should be an extreme sandbox. Like, just advertising right there.
Boom.
Yep.
Okay, so very cool. Just to wrap up really quick with you, what's on your bucket list? Let me put you on the spot. What are some things or something you want to do, or have you already done your biggest bucket list item?
Oh, I've got the list at
Travel.
home. You forget. Yeah, there's always a travel. You know, a couple of years ago, I did my helicopter skiing. That was, went up to Whistler and
Jumped out of a
unfortunately, that's all I wanted to do. Even if the helicopter was like a foot off the snow, I just wanted to jump out of it with my snowboard attached. Apparently, there's some safety regulations to
rules.
that. Right.
I don't know.
But that was definitely on there. The only other thing, professional mascot, right? So Minnesota Wild, if you're out there, I'm ready to suit back up.
Make
Right?
sure you tell the camera.
Being that mascot was great, but no, I think just doing a professional game, boy, that would be awesome.
There's got to be somebody that does that. Like, you can be mascot for the day or something.
You know, there's a lot that goes into it.
I know. Well, yeah. I watched those documentaries about just how athletic.
Yeah.
Those guys all can do the splits. They all can have a 40-inch vertical.
Except Nordy, he needs a little work. I think I can step in there and.
Well, even what I
to the next
noticed,
level.
we're in the state fair parade. So they have a parade every day at 2:00, and all the mascots are there.
Yep.
It's 100 degrees out.
It's horrible.
You have so you're just, there goes Goldie or whatever. You have no idea that suit is completely encased in dry ice. And when they come off, they have these white vans parked along the route. They literally take that person and just throw him or her into this van that's been air conditioned just because they're going to die of heat exhaustion.
No, it's horrible. Even when I would do hockey games up in Duluth, I mean, you take that suit off and it's like you just jumped out of a pool. It's disgusting. But thankfully, you clean them every time, and it's
just hose it down.
You do. You get a great workout. It's a sauna suit plus exercise, so it's good times.
Awesome. Any last parting words for us that you'd like to tell us about yourself or Running Aces?
No, I think just with Running Aces, it's like I said, our biggest hurdle is people coming up there, and I think there are so many attractions south of the cities that even somebody like yourself in Mounds View, you're not used to driving north unless you're going to Duluth or a cabin, and our biggest hurdle is drive north.
It is some type of mental block. It does feel that way. It's like, if you feel like you're going north, we're going to Canada.
Right.
But if you go south, even it's the same amount of distance.
Exactly. And so, just the airport, Mall of America, Renaissance Festival, Valley Fair, the zoo, everything is south. There are not many attractions up north. And so that's our biggest hurdle is still, we feel once you drive up and you see us, you realize how clean of a facility we are, how nice it is, how good the food is, how friendly our staff is, and the guest service that we have.
Yeah.
You're going to come back because you realize, wow, this is really close. This was easy to get to.
Yeah, so the key is once people come there and they see what you are, you're getting repeat customers because they're like, this place is amazing.
Absolutely.
It's just getting the word out.
Retention is great.
Yeah, it's just getting the word out and saying, you need to come just check this out.
Right.
It's not in Canada.
No, it's in from downtown Minneapolis, St. Paul, closest casino. We're 25 minutes straight up 35 E or W, right when they merge with the first exit, and that's probably the biggest thing. Getting somebody up there once, whether it's a night out where they want to come to Beer Fest. We have Beer Fest April 31st.
I did know about
March
that one.
31st.
Yep.
We've got comedy shows every month, so our next one's April 12th, and then it's all the restaurant every night of the week, or even if you come up and blackjack, we've got some of the most player-friendly games where we don't charge a commission or ante on any game. We always have a $1 blackjack game. And if you don't know how to play a game, our staff is more than happy to teach you. My favorite game is Pai Gow Poker, and we've got one of the best games in the country because we don't charge a commission or an ante on it.
That's super player-friendly. I have no idea what that is, but
Yep.
I'm sure they would teach me what that is.
Absolutely. It's an easy game to learn, and it's a fun social game. And it's a fun way to spend an evening for sure.
Great. Well, Aaron, thank you so much for stopping by today.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Hopefully this was cool.
Absolutely.
And make sure you guys check out Running Aces. Have a good one, Aaron. Thanks again.
Yeah, thank you.